So Jesse, Intune for Education, that's something new and it's been around the marketplace for a while now. Can you tell us what exactly its purpose is?
So Intune Edu came into the fold around mid to early 2017, and it's really targeted towards our school users. So Intune for Education is built upon the Intune platform, and Intune's one of our mobile device management suites. It's been around for a few years now, but Intune for Education is really targeted at our Windows 10 devices in schools, making that process so much more streamlined and easy for the IT manager, for the part-time IT manager, and even for some of the power teachers and power users in the school.
So in terms of, I guess, how it differs from full-fledged Intune, because there was Intune already prior to Intune for Education being introduced, what are kind of the differences, the distinctions, the different use cases for each?
Yeah, so that's correct. So Intune has existed for a while now, and Intune for Education is built upon that platform. Now, the really great thing about this is that when you buy Intune for Education, as most of our education customers will, you get access to both. What it means for schools, Intune for Education in particular, is access to a bunch of new features. So the ability to quickly and easily deploy things like Office Pro Plus, which are the desktop Office 365 applications, to devices, but also the ability to automatically enroll your Windows 10 device, or the ability to do a self-service password reset and send that back down to any on-premise infrastructure that exists. So a few of those features that usually come into another product called Azure Active Directory Premium have actually been bundled into Intune for Education, which are really great for schools. And once they're set up and going, you know, the ability to just do things like a self-service password reset is just really a great outcome for our schools. It's fundamentally one of the biggest challenges that IT teams face.
Right, and so who would you say would Intune for Education be built for in terms of a user perspective?
Yeah, so Intune for Education, as I kind of mentioned earlier, is focused towards a bunch of different users. So you can go anywhere from your sort of IT or power IT teacher in a small to medium-sized school. So you might be at a local primary school. You've got 100 Windows 10 machines that are shared across the classrooms, and you want to add some new applications to them. So as a power user in that school, or even just as a regular teacher, you could log into the Intune portal, Intune for Education portal, go through, select the app you want or the web link that you want to share down to those devices, press save, and they'll push down via the cloud. And that means that it really is targeted towards a whole bunch of different users. I mean, that's at the lower end of what you'd probably do, but all the way up to that high-end, really heavy IT user. Because you have access to not only Intune for Education for the Windows 10 devices, you've got access to Intune, which means you can manage any other device that you might have in that environment. So whether that's an Android, an iOS, or an earlier edition of Windows, so non-Windows 10.
So just to clarify then, you buy one and you essentially get two.
Yeah, you do. So
for education customers.
For education customers. So
right.
What you would do is you would buy Intune for Education, and it being built upon that Intune platform means you get access to both. And then on top of both of those, which is already a great deal, you also then get access to those select features of Azure Active Directory Premium, which is probably one of the number one things that our education customers have been asking for over the years, especially around that self-service password reset, but also around things like enterprise state roaming, which means that any settings that happen on one device can then be transitioned to another device via the Microsoft Cloud.
Right, phenomenal. And so you've kind of alluded to the process, or rather the journey that a user would go through in using Intune for Education. Can you talk us through that a bit more in terms of what that looks like and where people can go to find a bit more information? Yeah,
so this is one of the great things about Intune for Education, is it really has been designed with the ease of use in mind. So it's driven by a quick start wizard, which will basically allow someone to go through and do the majority of their customization, add most of the applications they're thinking about. It connects in with the store, so the Microsoft Store for Education connects directly into Intune for Education, which means that if you've got a Minecraft subscription, or you want one, you can do that. Or if you are looking at, doing some Arduino work in the school, you can add the Arduino development application and you can deploy those out to those devices. That's all built around this quick start wizard, so it's nice and quick and streamlined.
So where can people go to find out a bit more information on Intune?
So there's two places I'd recommend. The first place to go would be to go and search Intune for Education and go to our Microsoft site and have a look there. I mean, there you can spin up a trial, so you can get to know the Intune for Education product and see how it works. In sort of helping you be able to do that trial, I'd also recommend checking out our Docs website, which is docs.microsoft.com/education. And there's an Intune for Education tile there. And that will really talk you through how you would leverage this product in the classroom and how you'd leverage it in a school. And there's a really great article there that sort of talks to how you would leverage some of the other systems like School Data Sync, for example, to make Intune for Education work better in your environment.
And here in Australia, do you find that a lot of schools have taken advantage of Intune and Intune for Education for their MDM?
So we do have a lot of schools using Intune, and we've got a lot of schools who have access to Intune, and that will include Intune for Education. So if you're an existing user of Intune, you can access Intune for Education, and you'd need to contact your licensing partner to organise that. But there are a lot of schools who have that access. And it is a really great solution to being able to manage not only Windows 10 devices with the Intune for Education aspect or piece, but also being able to manage other devices in the organisation.
Yeah, phenomenal. And in terms of the devices and the capabilities, or rather the compatibility for Intune to work on those devices, are we an open playing field when it comes to Intune and what you can use it with, or are there certain things to flag with our audience?
Sure. So I usually tell people when you're thinking about Intune for Education, you think about Windows 10 devices. And when you're thinking about all other platforms, think about our normal Intune portal.
Right.
And the compatibility there is quite vast. So there is a lot of ability to change settings and manage iOS, Android and Windows devices through the traditional Intune environment, but also for Windows 10 devices, think Intune Education and vice versa.
Right, got it. So Intune for Education, Windows 10, anything cross-platform, full-fledged Intune.
Yeah, and you have access to both of them, of course. So
Brilliant.
you've got multiple
Two in one.
choices. Yeah.
All right, and then just lastly, Jesse, any parting words for an IT administrator, a teacher who's looking to manage a set of devices in a school? Anything that you think they should leave with or think about around Intune?
So the one last thing I'd probably make is Intune, when it comes to how you purchase and procure and buy, it attracts what we call student use benefit. So that means that where you licensed or bought a license or access to 100% of users who are faculty and staff in a school, that you then get the students included. And so that student use benefit applies across a few of our products, but for Intune Education in particular, that's a really great offering, and I would definitely advise people to take a look at that as sort of a parting word.
Right, so 2-in-1 and a student use benefit.
There's
Sounds like a great deal to me.
There is a lot to it, and it's a constantly evolving product, so we're adding new features all the time. But yeah, there's definitely a lot there. Check out the trial website and some of the documentation.
Phenomenal. Thanks so much.
Thank you.